The United States, the land of the free. A country built on democracy, freedom of expression, and diversity. But in recent years, growing political polarization and debates over immigration and minority rights have drawn increasing attention both at home and abroad. Subtle changes in everyday life and political culture have raised new questions. Immigrants and people of color are being persecuted and their human rights at risk. Violence and polarization is affecting American citizens. In recent months, tensions have also become visible on the streets. Some citizens say they feel their rights, including the right to peaceful protest protected by the First Amendment, are increasingly under pressure. For many, these developments raise broader concerns about the health of democratic institutions and the protection of civil rights. In a functioning democracy, moments like these demand attention, especially when the testing of democratic norms begin to feel normal.
I believe always immigration policy has an influence democracy, okay? Because democracy depends on people feeling good, feeling protected, feeling represented, okay? So when policies become a little bit stricter, especially immigration policies become stricter, people start feeling uncertain. They start feeling not trusting the government, not trusting the system. So when you don't feel that trust, you stop participating, you stop being part of the whole democracy system.
Demonstrations like this rally in DC are a sign that this is the case.
I think in moments of urgency, people show up. There's nothing else you can do. I mean, we had a marshal that killed Mr. Bailey 3 weeks ago. We had Mr. Brown who got shot at by HSI. These are moms who are coming out and screaming to the wind, I need help. And so I think it brings hope to say there are other people showing up and saying, okay, we're going to fight this. You're not in this alone. This isn't okay.
As a result of police violence, people don't feel safe. People don't feel that they can call the police when things happen. And so things are allowed to fester and continue until, they hit boiling points, And so it's just the overall negative impact. And people just don't feel safe, especially with all the information that's coming out about Trump and the Epstein files and, all these other things. It's just a feeling that we are not safe in this country, just existing as we are, and that we have to do something to fight back against that and to stop it.
You're taking over black and brown neighborhoods. You are attacking black and brown. They are shooting inside cars and not reporting them. They are just terrorizing the black and brown and the LGBTQ communities, and enough is enough, and we're taking our streets back.
The political developments in the United States are being watched closely around the world, including in Germany, a country shaped by its own history with authoritarianism. Stefan Stähli, a CDU politician from Saxony-Anhalt, holds both German and American citizenship, giving him a unique perspective on the current situation.
And I think we should be critical, if we are, of the United States, of decisions that are made. We should say this is not feasible, this is not acceptable, this is not, but it has nothing to do with a state situation that had democracy disappear within the shortest time and started not only locking up people, but killing people on an industrial level.
According to political scientist Dr. Allison Ellis, one of the most striking developments is the growing mistrust not just towards institutions, but between citizens themselves.
I don't share my political opinions with students. I don't think it's my place to, right? But we've kind of waded into this territory where there's a lot more questioning of what's true and what's false, what's fact and what's fiction, and there's a blurring. Whereas like before it used to be like, okay, this happened, we can disagree on maybe the reasons that it happened or what the outcome of it was, but we can all pretty much agree that this is something that happened, and that is eroding. And so now, and I think a lot of it has to do with social media. If people see things online and they don't bother to see the source. And so, all of a sudden, you've got people that are questioning factual things that happen, and kind of the response is like, oh, but that's my opinion. And it's like, well, usually, if it's a fact, then you don't really get to have an opinion on whether or not something occurred.
In 2026, Americans will once again head to the polls for the midterm elections. Often seen as a referendum on the sitting government, midterms can shift the balance of power in Congress and shape the political direction of the country for years to come. For many, they represent a chance to reset the conversation and rebuild trust in democratic institutions. But rebuilding that trust may not be so simple.
And I think it's really hard living in a two-party system, because it's this or that, and like I've heard people many times, refer to like the party that they support, and they're like, but it's like my team. No matter what my team does, you think about like a football team. Well, they had a really bad season, but it's still my team and I'm still going to support them, and so then you kind of like relate that over to politics. And I think that it would be helpful, instead of for people just to say like, this is my team, this is who I'm going to always root for, to really just constantly be, thinking about like, is that how I feel? Is that, the policy I want to support, or is this the person that I want to support? And I think it's okay to reflect on what your political feelings are, and it's okay to change them sometimes. It's okay to go, well, you know what, I felt like that for a while, but maybe that doesn't fit anymore with like who I am as a person.
I will always respect him. He's the president. He's in office then here, but I don't have to agree with him. I'm looking forward to the days when I can vote for the Republican Party again.
While political tensions may feel intense, democratic systems are often defined by their ability to navigate periods of disagreement and change.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? But anytime that there's turmoil, I think it's difficult to see that like there is going to be, some kind of outcome. It's not just going to kind of stay in that turmoil forever, and that's where we are right now.
This is not a story about fear. It is a story about awareness. Because history shows us that the most dangerous moment is not when democracy collapses, but when we assume it always will protect itself.